excited to be here today and get a tour of your cute sewing room. I mean, the first thing that struck me was the colors.
Yeah, I like happy colors.
Tell me about your fabric storage first.
Well, I keep fabrics in my favorite colors, but I keep them as per color. All my baskets are per color, not through fabric line, but up here are my fabric lines.
So when you're getting ready to do a project, what's the first thing you do? Like when you combine and pull your...
I decide what colors together. I'm going to use in the quilt.
You'll pull out, like if you need reds, you'll pull out your red and then sort through
them. And well, first I usually decide how many reds I'm going to use and how many blues I'm going to use. And I write it all down from my drawing, and then I'll pull out my basket and say, okay, I need 6 reds, and I need 4 blues, and I need 3 yellows, or something, and I pull them out and just lay them all out and move them around on my counter until I like how they look with each other, and then keep those out so that I can cut them.
So do you ever have to go to the store and shop for something, or do you try and stay?
Sometimes, but I usually just stay with what I have. Usually when I do my shopping, I pick up a piece of fabric because I like it. And I usually just buy a fat quarter at a time.
Yeah.
And then when I come home, I just put it in the color.
So you just buy as you go and collect,
so
to speak. I mean, this is your new fabric line.
Yes, bake sale.
And so if you were to do a project with this, I mean, a lot of times you'll do just bake sale, but a lot of times you'll pull in different fabrics.
Then I just know all the colors that are in bake sale, so then I will pull the different colors that coordinate with it, different prints, and pull them to go with it.
So I'm going to pretend I'm Lori, and I'm going to sew for the day. So show me where you sew and where we keep things, because this chair is adorable.
Over here is my machine.
To sit on this cute chair.
It has storage in it, too.
Okay, so show me, like, where do you keep your pins and your needles? And
all my pin cushion collection's here on the cupboard, but I usually keep this pin cushion right here by my machine behind you.
Okay, let's look at that.
And
so these are the ones you use regularly.
Those are the ones that are right next to me that I use regularly.
And then I was looking, look at this cute cash register.
Yeah, I use all my vintage pieces to store my things in.
I'm noticing, like, this is like...
I have my stiletto and my seam ripper and some extra pins, some long ones if I need them.
How cute is this? That's adorable. Like, you utilize your space to the full extent.
I do. I keep my little scissors there in a container because several times I'm using them for all different projects, and so.
And then what about threads?
Well, I keep my thread in my drawers here. Those are my vintage threads, which I really don't use. I just use them for looks, but I have my threads in my drawers, and all things like that I keep hidden away. All my buttons I have in my jars here. These are my collections that I've had for years.
And you even have a nice place for like rulers and your little boards.
I have this little spot here where I keep all my big things that won't fit inside of a cupboard.
I love that. And then look at your tell me about your collections, your vintage collections.
Well, I always collect vintage. That's just my thing. And so I have a lot of things.
Say that again, Lori.
I was vintage before vintage was cool.
I love that because you are so vintage.
And so a lot of these collections I've had for years. And these are the irons that I use. I don't use new irons. I use old irons.
And do they work well?
Yes. The reason I use old irons, not because I like the looks of them only, but because they're useful. This was really heavy. And they have a point. And they get hot. And I don't use steam.
Oh, okay.
So,
which is great for pressing blocks and stretching.
Yeah, I don't use steam. When I have to use steam or water, then I'll just use a spray bottle.
And then, of course, this is where you cut. This is your cutting table.
This is my cutting table, and it's also my ironing board. So
you've covered this.
So I can cut right here on my mat, and I can press right here. But if I need to press rows or anything, I just take my mat off, and this whole thing is an ironing board. It's just covered with upholstery designer fabric so that it's wide enough, because you have to have 54-inch wide fabric.
Like a piece of
it's just the really thick plywood, and then we have a layer of batting, and then a layer of the silver design board. Design ironing board fabric. That goes on it.
So you can change this out when it gets stained.
Yes, I change it out. It'll get stained right here, because I'm pressing right here, all the little pieces. It'll get stained like about every 6 months. I change it out.
And this is just on top of a set of cupboards?
It is. It's on top of cabinets.
And you keep storage in here?
I keep bigger pieces of batting and, my interfacings and things like that.
Okay.
under there, and Cassidy's sewing machine is in that cabinet.
And I noticed you've got your whole library, a collection of books and ideas.
Yes, when we built these shelves for the fabric, I knew that I would need a spot for the books. So this shelf goes as deep as the fabric shelf.
Oh, okay.
And so there's room for a container behind for more fabric.
Oh, yeah.
But in the front, I can get to the books.
Oh, great.
And then, so these are just the books. And then when I need to put patterns away, I keep them here in my little bookcase.
Oh, okay. So you've got more storage for
that I bought. I have, like I say, I have cupboards, and try to keep everything within the cupboards that, you know, for my storage.
And tell me about your cute little blue or aqua tree.
Oh, I have this roll around cart that I got at IKEA, and I love it. I keep my pre-cuts in here of my current line. Okay. I just cut everything in there into pre-cuts and keep it in there so that when I'm designing,
you're so organized.
I can just grab them.
That's
I like to be organized in my sewing.
I mean,
yeah.
That's how you really use your time wisely, is in your prep work.
Well, and I have to use my space wisely in order to fit everything in that I want.
It is incredible what you have done with this
Gina.
space and with this room, and it's inspirational.
Thank you.
Honestly, this has been so fun for me to be here and be with Lori.